The Penn State Nittany Lions travel into Morgantown, West Virginia for one of the most underrated rivalries in all of college football. Let's talk about it and give a prediction. This is rumored to be Penn State's year, but West Virginia is looking to play spoiler. They went 9-4 last season after people expected them to have a very off year and fire their head coach, but they were also 5-1 at home. I think that's very important. Morgantown is a very tough place to play, especially when there's so much hope on the line here. Penn State has a ton of talent, though. Drew Aller, the quarterback, he's got to prove it to me, but I think he could be one of the best quarterbacks in the country. Nick Singleton is a top 10 running back in college football right now. Tyler Warren, although he didn't get a lot of shine last year, tied in for Penn State, he is going to have that exact moment this year for the team. And then on the defensive side of the ball, Penn State has a top 10 defense, in my opinion. Abdul Carter can get to the quarterback at a level that I don't think we're going to see in the rest of the Big Ten. Kobe King, field general for this Penn State team, commander of the defense. I think he's going to do a great job of making sure that this team is set up for success. Last but not least, Kevin Winston Jr., one of the best players in all of college football, one of the best strong safeties that I've seen in the Big Ten in a very long time. This Penn State defense is, like I said, one of the best, and they're going up against a West Virginia offense who, while yes, was successful, did not have a ton of yards through the air last year. Only 2,600. They don't really have any ultra dynamic wide receivers. They do have great pass protection. They only gave up 5 sacks for their starter Garrett Green last year, which I think is tremendous. Even considering that they played Penn State last year, they did lose, but they did a great job protecting the quarterback. All that being said, the last thing I want to talk about before we get into our prediction is that Penn State comes in with pretty much a brand new offense. One, they lose 3 of their starting offensive linemen, Olu Fashanu, Caden Wallace, and Hunter Nourzad, I believe, maybe Nourzad, but all 3 of those guys get drafted. They've got a ton of new starters on the O-line, but I definitely think that they can get movement. West Virginia's front 7 is not elite, to say the least, especially in the linebacker unit. But what else I want to talk about on this Penn State offense? They get a new offensive coordinator, Andy Kotelnicki from Kansas, who had this Kansas offense, regardless of the quarterback, rolling over the last 4 or 5 years, and he's seen West Virginia multiple times. I think that's important to note. Let's get into our prediction now. Penn State is still extremely talented, but needs to reestablish where they are on offense. They've got to win the line of scrimmage. I definitely think they can, but it might come out slow for this Nittany Lions team, and West Virginia might take advantage of that. I'm expecting the first half score to be 14-10 in Penn State's favor. West Virginia has the home field advantage. They're going to be roaring to start the first half. They were last season as well. That was a very close game to start, but like last year, Penn State will eventually take off and win this game. My final score prediction is 31-17 Penn State. Last year was 38-15. It was in Pennsylvania. This time in West Virginia. I will give West Virginia the gap closing, but not closed. 31-17. Penn State will cover that 8-point spread. I think that they win both sides of the line of scrimmage. Even though they might not be able to get to the passer, their wide receivers aren't going to be able to create separation on what I think is a very elite Penn State defense. They win this game. They win it pretty convincingly. 31-17 on the road is very impressive to me. This West Virginia team is very underrated. Do not doubt them at all. They could keep this game competitive. But that's going to do it for this episode. Make sure you tune in next time. We're going to be talking about LSU versus USC. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next episode.